Let's see, we'll move this here, and what do you mean I don't have permission to move that? Of course I have permission to move that. Sometimes people wonder, do rides need permission? Yes, they do. Let's talk about it.
Now get ready. Here we go.
So we're talking about ride permissions right now. We're going to do another example. For the example that I built behind me, we're going to be working with the station, and we're going to be working with a dispatching scenario. That we have a train and we've got everybody situated, the ride's ready to go, but for some reason it won't dispatch. So we're going to look at the permission that the train needs to dispatch, or I should say that the system needs for the train to dispatch. Alright, let's look at it. Alright, let's look at some dispatch permissions. So what I've mocked up here would be a typical dispatch scenario. This is a very high level. Again, it's not that in depth. It was built just for this. But we have a train sitting in a track that in the station. The operators have said, hey, we want to dispatch this, and the train doesn't go anywhere. So they call maintenance up and they say, hey, why is this not going anywhere? Most maintenance technicians will not get into the programming level of the ride, but this is what the ride's looking at. We've said that the ride's running, the ride's in automatic, there's no e-stop present, no ride stop is active, the air is okay, the drives are safe, the cars are locked, the block ahead of it is okay, the station is ready for dispatch, we're just not making dispatch before we start the ride. So all that happens is we have to fix this one bit. If we step backwards a little bit, this one bit is right here. Those are the two. And if we look backwards to this, we see we have the dispatch operator 3, dispatch operator 2, maintenance bypass, dispatch operator 1B, and dispatch operator 1A. And then what these are is typically your operator, the main operator at panel 1, typically needs both hands to push two buttons at the same time to confirm that the train wants to go. In this case, what we're registering is that the B button, probably this one, is pushed, but the A button is not. So we have to figure out what's going on with that. It could be a loose contact, could be a loose wire, or something else. So if we scroll down here to the bottom, I've already fixed this. Dispatch operator A1 right there. And that we're going to go ahead and trick that I315 into saying that that's the operator button. See, once I click that button, the dispatch drops in. Uncheck it, check it, uncheck it, check it. Okay, so once that operator button is made happy, dispatch enables, the whole strand becomes active, and then the ride starts on the right hand side. So scrolling down, let's look at what all of these here in the center mean. So we'll start from the bottom. It says no e-stop presence. That means that we have 4 e-stops and the master e-stop reset, or e-stop relay. Sorry. We have all 5 of these are in good condition. That means this e-stop is okay, 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 and the master e-stop relay is probably pulled in because it's been reset. The next thing up is no ride stop presence. So that means the ride stops are pulled out for the operator 1, operator 2, operator 3, operator 4, and then the master, which these 4 would report to. And then what we do with the masters is we could use something else in the control system to drop these guys out. We can use something else somewhere and say, well, we want a work bay stop to drop this guy out. So it's not necessarily a ride stop that's pushed, but it still drops the master ride stop out and shuts everything down. Next, we'll move into the air pressure. Our air pressure is okay. So we're monitoring our air pressure at air in the brake on A, air in the brakes on B, air in the brakes on C, air in tank 1, and the air in tank 2, And the important part is that the air compressor is running, so we know that the system is producing air pressure, so it has enough air pressure to keep the brakes open. The next thing we're going to do is look at the station motor control. Now these are very important, so you want to make sure that the drives are safe when the train is not supposed to go anywhere. So we know that the drives are okay. They're sending a signal out that they're okay. The drive relay is in the safe off position, which is good. That means the relay is not pulled in, so even if the drive went berserk and tried to drive, it could not. The drive is not being told to run, so the drive's running bit relay is off. And the drive's enabled. They're not being told to enable, they're not being told to run, and the relay is not pulled in, allowing them to run. So we've effectively and safely disconnected the drives from the control system so the train doesn't try to go anywhere accidentally. The next thing is we're going to go into the train restraint control. We're going to show here that car 1 is locked, car 2 is locked, car 3 is locked, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to show that the release bar to unlock those 8 cars is not in the up position, and it is in the down position. So then we're going to make this bit happy that the cars are locked. Then we're going up here to the next block control. The next block is our lift. So we're going to say that block B is open. It's ready to accept our train. And then we're going to say that the lift is running because we want to make sure we send a train onto an active lift. So that block B is okay. Station control, we want to make sure that the train's ready to rock and roll. So we're going to say that the air gates are closed, and that we're going to also say the air gates are not open. And what this is a sensor in the closed position, a sensor in the open position. We make sure that this one has gone high and that it's not in the open position, and we're going to make sure the open position is not also high. This rules out a sensor breaking. Typically there'll be 4 of these and they'll look identical but reversed underneath them in the branch. So they crisscross each other and cancel the command either way. And we say station ready for dispatch. And then here, dispatch control. This is what we were talking about. Here's all our buttons. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I dropped a tag off of 4. Then right here, this is our maintenance bypass. When you go up and maintenance runs a ride with nobody else around, this is the branch that we turn on. So we don't need 3 other people or less or more in the station to run the ride. You can essentially run the ride with 1 person. Rides are extremely dangerous to run that way, so only maintenance personnel in a closed environment can do it. When I used to show up to ride calls where the ride was active and in use, and we would have to move the trains around, I would typically get the ride ready to operate and then step back and have the operators dispatch the ride, because they were trained to operate it with people around. I was not. So I didn't want to endanger anybody, so I got the ride ready just enough and gave it back to operations. And then this is our main permissive branch up on top. Everything we went through below, except for our 1 dispatch is not ready, which we can close that circuit right now. And let's ride. Ready to rock and roll. So that's a brief overview on Rollercoaster permissions used inside of programs. Now this is permissions from the block A or the station to the lift hill. I could probably remake this video and do everything from the station to the lift hill to the run track to the brakes, brakes to the second brakes, and then brakes to station again. There's a lot of information to program in there. It's a lot of effort. Not sure if anybody wants to see that at all, but it can be done. Then transferring trains is a very, very, very complex program. Transferring is where I would say half of the ride program lives, in taking trains on and off the track, because there's only one way to do it successfully. Just a real quick to show you, we'll look at this. We'll take something like these e-stop circuits down here, and I'll go ahead and trigger one of the e-stops. See, I dropped out the operator 2 e-stop, but as you notice, now the B311 no e-stop present is now dark, And then if I go up top, and if I release this and scroll up here, I could try my dispatching. And if I drop out that e-stop, you see my dispatch is present, but my final bit's not active because my e-stop is preventing it from running. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this video on roller coaster permissions, and take care. See you around.